Wibbly wobbly. Good evening, crafters. Thank you for joining me on Facebook, or if you are catching up with this later on YouTube, thank you for that too. I'm just going to quickly open up my tablet because I had forgot it, to be honest, and Dave just passed it to me. Isn't he a good egg? So that I can... Oh no, system notifications. No, we don't want those. Turn those off. So give me a thumbs up and a like. Hi Karen, hi Susan. Give me a thumbs up or a like or a comment or whatever when you get here. And I will hopefully be joining you soon. I'm just trying to find us. Okay, here we are. So tonight, I actually have a plan. Yes, I do. So tonight we are going to do... Oh God, I'm talking to myself. That's terrible. Right, so as you can hear, the tablet is a little bit behind. But I will do my best to keep up with the comments. So, tonight we have a plan. We are going to do one stamp set, 3 cards. Okay, so I've picked the Botanicals Oak set. Okay, and I've got 3 ink pads. So I've got 3 Distress Oxides. I have Abandoned Coral, Bundled Sage and Mustard Seed. I've just grabbed those at random off the top, and I have 3 cards and layers ready to go. I know, it's an insane amount of prep for me, isn't it? Hi Gail! Hi Mother! Hi Sue! Yeah, I am feeling a bit better, darling. I'm still really sinusy, but my earache's going. It just feels like I've got over my right ear, but it doesn't hurt or anything, so that's fine. And I've checked my temperatures and everything. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, so what I'm going to try and do is just using this stamp set. I have got the matching easy frame for the large oak leaf. So just using this stamp set all by itself, I'm going to attempt to make 3 cards. Now I have to be honest, at this moment in time, I'm not sure whether to start with the biggest and go smaller, or start with the smaller one and work my way up. Because basically, so I'm doing all rectangle cards, and I've got 3 sizes. So it's just a case of deciding where to start. I think I might start with the littlest one and then work our way up. Okay, but if there's any specific techniques you would like to see or anything you would like to see me do, then please let me know. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start. I really don't know what to do. I think I'm going to start with the littlest one, and we'll do something quite simple to start, and then we'll work our way up from there. Okay. In all honesty, the temptation, I've got my border stamps around me, and the temptation to grab those in is almost overwhelming, I have to say. Right, so like I said, I'm going to be using the Botanicals Oak set. And what I love about this is the oak leaves were hand drawn by Sam, and they match perfectly with the easy frames. So you can sort of use them as a mask and a template to go with that, which is really, really good. Now, because of the size of this, I don't know, I'm actually going to do the opposite of what I was planning to do. I'm going to use the biggest of the oak leaves, I think, on here, but I'm going to rotate it because I think it looks better that way, I think. And I'm going to stamp it. I'm not going to go black. I am going to go black. Or am I? See, I'm already off, aren't I? Just happy Tuesday evening. You've had vertigo all week. Oh, bless you. Mum gets that. Right, so I'm going to go in with my bundled sage. Actually, I'm going to do that. Okay, and we're going to ink that up with our bundled sage. I'm just going to get a scrap piece. Oh, no, I'm not. It's fine. like I said, I'm going to go that way because I just like that rotation. So we're going to stamp that in. Flex our super skinny. So we've got our oak leaf on our layer. And I think that is, I mean, you can see how pretty that is already with all those details coming out. So I'm just going to, so this is quite a challenge for me because you guys know how I like to layer up the stamps. I am going to mix up the colours in a bit. You know how I like to layer up the stamps. So, you know, just start doing one stamp set. So as you can see, I've just spritzed that with water because I was going to clean it. But what you can also do is go on to another tag or a journal page, and you can see you've got that sort of watercolor effect there. So if you know, if you're really thrifty with your inks and you don't want to waste any of that glorious loveliness, I did overspray because, like I say, I was planning to clean it all off. But I'll be honest, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's a bit of a waste, isn't it? So you can see, you know, you can use that as a tag later on. Right, so I am just going to give this a little bit of a waft. Okay, and then we're going to go in with some of our colours. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using mustard seed mostly on this one, and I'm going to go around it with the mustard seed. Now this isn't a watercolour card I'm using, so it's quite absorbent, so there isn't really lots of places for the ink to go, truth be told. I might just wash it a little bit more. Ah, that's better. Okay, I'm just going to work around like the outside, just to create more of a layer. Now, I'm hoping as well this will give some of you guys a little bit of inspiration to maybe have a quick go in the autumn challenge, which is in the autumn colours challenge, which is in the stamps group, because obviously tomorrow is the last day of the month, so the challenge will be over and there'll be a new challenge for the weekend. Okay, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of the denser colour around the edge. So it creates more of a sort of shadow. Oh, my tablet's stuck, so I can't see what you're saying. Who knows? That could be a good thing. Do 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 do. Oh no, that's taking me to totally the wrong place. Right, so we'll go here. Okay. You have both the easy frames, absolutely. Yeah, this is the one, I don't know if you saw, Lou did some planner pages using the easy frame. So, for example, if you wanted to add in a little bit more colour around the outside, but you wanted to do it with a blending tool or with a dry brush or whatever, okay, what you could do is you could use the mask from your easy frame, just place it over the top, and then you've got a mask for that. You don't need to cut a mask for that, it's already there, all waiting for you. Now, I'm going to put some bundled sage onto my mat. I'm going to mix that in with a little bit of the mustard seed, because I do want a slightly Like I said, I'm throwing quite a lot of water now at this card, which isn't watercolour card. I could live to regret it. But, you know, what do I always say? What is it? It's only a piece of card. And that's one of those things you realise you've been saying that to people for decades and they're probably really, 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 really sick of you saying it. Right, so I'm just going to add in a little bit of colour along some of the veins, but what I'm primarily going to do, got yellow on my hand already, what I'm primarily going to do is just work just with water, just to pull out some of the colour that's already there. Lovely. And then if you want to add a little bit more density to where the veins are that Sam has brought in, you can do just by picking up a little bit of your bundled sage. I wouldn't do it too much because obviously Sam's put a lot of detail into the lines and you don't want to lose it. It's just a really good guide as to where to add a little bit more shading if that's what you want to do. But I mean, it did look really cool just in the white as well. So, you know, totally up to you. So I'm just, like I said, I just want that shading because I want it to be lifted slightly. I think I am going to have to add some bundled sage around the outside of the card because otherwise, saying that, it is quite note-litty like that. I do quite like it. This is one of these things where, I'll be honest with you, as you know, I'm not a massive one for over planning what I'm going to do. I usually have a vague idea which stamp set I'm going to use or whatever. But this, I really wanted 3 ink pads, 1 stamp set, 3 cards. Because I've done a lot of journaling lately. And I really wanted to do a few cards. So I was like, right, I really want to do this. And stuff like that, it's sort of restricted me a little bit. But I think that can be good because obviously sometimes it can be really easy for us peeps that do it all day, every day. You know, we have access, well, obviously the Be Crafty stamp sets, I have them all. So it's easy for me to say, oh, we'll just grab this and just grab this and just grab this and so on and so on and so on. But, you know, for example, all the cards I'm going to show you tonight using this stamp set, if you have just the nettle or just the maple leaf, you'll be able to recreate those with your leaf stamp set. So that's what we're after. So, right, I need another mop-up tag or a mop-up journal. I think I've got a piece of spare card here. I'll just pick that up. I will say I'm really loving the colour combo too. It's not one I can honestly say I've ever used before, or if I have, I can't remember. So in fairness, that's not saying anything at all. So let's just give that a quick blast. Now, as usual, I do all my colouring really on my blending mat, because you can see the colours, because it's a light colour, you can see it better. But if you're heating, you're better on your non-stick craft sheet. Okay. So, and they're all on the website as well. So I'm just going with my tool. Yeah, Mum has put a link on to all the Tim Holtz Distress Oxides. Like I said last week, we are struggling to get all the colours at the minute. There is raw material supply, I won't say problems, but delays. So we can't get all the colours at the minute, but we all have them all on back order. So as and when they become available, any that are missing will turn up, but obviously not necessarily every single one we've ordered. Okay, so that I think is a super cute little notelet. Now, in all honesty, I was going to go around the outside with some bundled sage as well, but I think because of the shading we've done around the leaf, I think it lifts it up, and I think if I put some more around. Oh, I think it's Sammy done the links. I'm sorry, but I think if I put some more colour there, it's actually going to take away from the 3D of that card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some double-sided tape, and then all my foam's going to fall down, and we're going to go straight on with our double-sided tape. You use an old, absolutely, well, yeah, that's cool. That's cool too. Just make sure it's, you know, heat safe. Whatever you want to dry on. Like I say, in like on my live I did last week, I use the non-stick craft sheets for prep boards, for a paint board. In fairness, I do use, if I'm just spraying with the Dina Wakley gloss sprays, I do also spray onto here because it just scrapes off straight after. Saying that, it scrapes off here too. I don't know why, I just do it that way. Right, so I'm just going to layer straight here. I'm quite liking this clean edge as well, so that's why I wanted to leave it as is, because I think that's really cool. And then we need some words. I'm going to have to put some more tape under there in a minute. So I'm going to go with I think I'm just going to go with the oak on there. And now I've got some little strips of white card from where I was cutting my layers down. So we'll use that. Okay. I'm loving the white space around the outside. Now I will say I am a really, what's the word, prolific layerer. It comes from when I primarily was a scrapbooker, and I love layers. I think it's a really nice way to make your cards look. For example, if I just grab this one here, you know, even just a thin layer of black, I think it really makes your cards look finished. But I think like the little notelet like that is really, really cool. So, and I will say, if I did this and didn't like it, and I thought it needed a layer, I wouldn't try and peel it off or anything. I would just cut the card front off. Okay. So, right. So I think I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go with the bundled sage. And I'm just going to ink the, well, I'm not, I've inked it all. But I just want the word oak. This one a bit narrower, is that going to be better? Yes. I'm going to stamp straight down there. But I didn't ink my stamp up properly. I've got a song in my head and I can't get rid of it. Now that's made it too mucky. I'm going to have to restamp. I was trying to be smart. Should have known that wasn't going to work. Yeah, don't you hate that when you've got an earworm? So it's just going round and round and round, and I keep stamping that wrong because now I've put too much ink on. Too much haste. This is the problem. I am trying to be quick because I want to get 3 cards done, and I just need to just calm myself down, you know, have a word with myself. It's all absolutely fine. We've got plenty of time. Perfect, you see? Just need to settle down. That is obviously, the bundled sage is obviously very, very drussy. What are you saying? It's that sort of dancey tune. It's been going around my head all day. And my heart goes all day. Okay. And again, I was going to give that like a funky flag edge, but I think I'm literally just going to give it a straight line. I want a bit of some thin 3D foam, not some thick 3D foam. Don't worry about it, it's only a bit of paper. Exactly. Turn over a new leaf. Yeah, so I think this would be really wicked note lit. You know, if you're just putting a card in with something that you've sent to somebody. Really, really cool. So these are quite not very thick foam pads, so they'll be fine. They're only a couple of mil. And then we can get on to card number 2. Getting ahead of myself. But like I say, the reason these are so easy to do is because, like I said, Sam's put all those line details in with you. So if you just follow those, you're good to got to go. As one of the kids, I can't remember which one, used to say when we were little, if you were in a rush to go somewhere, they go, "We've got to go." It was much funnier at the time. Right, so there we go. So that's one little notelet done. Lovely. And I think what's fab about this is because I've used the biggest leaf on the smallest card, it works. Do you know what I mean? Very good. Right, so on to the next. And then we'll show them all at the end. Right, so this one's a slightly bigger layer. This layer is actually the size pretty much of the first card because I have left the same sort of size white border around all the edges. Honestly, I'm looking at all my, honest goodness, I'm looking at all my border stamps because they're just there because I don't really put them away. And the temptation's real, ladies and gents. It really, really is. Right, so on this one, we will go for we're going to use the tallest oak again, sentiment, but we're going to use all of it. And that is how I clean my stamps, boys and girls, when I do it. It is a spritz, my painty tea towel, of which I have several. And there you go. I only do a warm soapy wash. Well, I was going to say tepid soapy wash when they stop sticking to my block. Okay, that's the only time that happens because I honestly think the more ink on it, the better. Generally, the better it stamps. There is too many puns going on Facebook tonight, ladies and gents, I really have to say. Right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go a bit dark with this one. I am going to allow myself a black ink pad, I think, because I think that's fair. Most of you will have a black ink pad. Okay. Oh, that VersaFine's a bit juicy too. Very careful not to press too hard with this one. Okay, so we're going to go into there. See, I knew that was going to happen because I'd over-inked. Terrible. Yes, stamping is what I do for a living. No, I'm not sure it was right. Right. So let's try again. It's my fault because I thought this was my old VersaFine, so I picked it up and went squish. Don't know. And I see so many people swipe nowadays, and I don't like a swipe. We're a tapper. Tap, 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 tap. it should be all that's required of a reasonably new ink pad. That's much better, isn't it? A little bit fuzzy on the nut. And now I've just realised what I said. So I'm just going to carry on as if I didn't. I'm going to give that a little blast with my heat tool. Okay, because VersaFine, obviously with its oil base, is really good for watercolouring round, adding water if you want to, but because it is oil based, it does take a little bit longer to dry. So you can heat set it. I get lines on my stamps. White pen adjustment, nah. I'm going to even try and avoid the white pen for as long as I can. Right, now from here I'm going to get the smaller of the oak leaves, because that's what's cool about the oak leaf set, is you do have two sizes. And we're going to go right on here. I've just remembered, actually, I had planned to use the doodle art houses tonight, because someone had said about them last week. Sorry. It's a problem, innit? I go off on a tangent. Right, I'm going to be stamping off the edge of this piece of white card, right? Now, the problem is, like I said, if I get VersaFine on this black mat, I will then smudge it everywhere. So I'm just going to use this piece of card just to get the excess off, because we'll catch any of the excess, I suppose, is a better way of putting it, because otherwise I am very much thinking a black and white card is going to be how this finishes up, by the way, because I think it's just lovely in the black and white. I might layer it up on a little bit of black card. So, very annoyed that that didn't come out perfectly. I'm nervous about ruining it if I go again. Ha! Did it. Because I think that is absolutely stunning in the black and white. Do we think a black layer or not? Okay. Fuzzy duck. See, I can say that. Do we think a black layer, or do we think just straight on the white card? I will wait a second to see what you say. I will let you guys have a shout in here. You know, because I'm really... I had honestly planned to put colour onto all of the cards, but I honestly think that with the VersaFine is absolutely beautiful. Is layer or not layer? Yes does not help me, Sue. I can't lie, my love. Sorry, me duck. I need yes to the black layer. Sam says no layer. Goodness gracious. Black layer. Black layer, black layer. Black layer, not this time, layer. Oh, it's a mixed bag. Shall I cut one and then we'll decide? Shall I? This will be really funny if I can't find any black card. Like, really funny. I mean, not for you guys, but for me. Oh, I did see some black card earlier. Here we go. I do get through a phenomenal amount of black card because of black layers. You know, I very rarely do anything on it. No, I don't want to edge in black because I want to keep it quite clean. Black horizontal strip on the right hand side. I think the black layer team has it. I think they've taken that one. Okay. The prolific layerer in me has won out. So, good old Sharpie. Who had a Sharpie? For the edge, no, I'd worry about doing it not even. So I would rather just do the layer. Proper job. Obviously, if you wanted to Sharpie or anything the edge, or do a blended edge, let's say I really wanted a nice crisp. So I'm going to do it quite thin. So, and I know this offends people's sensibilities a lot of the time with how much card you're therefore hiding, especially if you're doing a thin layer. So, you know, if you wanted to gut it, you can. But in all honesty, I don't really do that anymore. I used to, like I say, when I was a scrapbooker, I used to gut card. If I was doing, for example, a 12 or 12 page. And you wouldn't, and I was layering the whole page, and you wouldn't really see. The card, I would gut the back of that, but something this small I wouldn't. And that is how I layer. I have a few Sharpies too. I have a Sharpie pencil case. It actually says Bev's Sharpies on it. So that I think is absolutely stunning. Okay, so you can see just with the thin layer how pretty that is. So I'm going to, you know what, I am actually going to stick that flat. I'm going to use, and I think this sort of sentiment, the tallest oak in the forest was just a little nut that held its ground. Now, I think it's safe to say us Be Crafty folk are quite happy with a little nuttiness. But also, I just think it's a good sentiment, especially for at the minute. You know, just hold on. You're doing well. Just hold your ground. I think at the minute, in a lot of ways, for a lot of us, not backwards is as good as forwards. So, you know, just hang on. And with that in mind, I have had a few messages today of people that just wanted to sound off. You know, and I think, to be honest, they weren't even looking for a response in a way. So if you are just having a frustrated day or anything like that at any point, and you're just thinking, do you know what, I just need to sound off at somebody, you can do that to us. We're here. Okay. So, on here. So, yeah, so sorry, that's what I was going to say. This is how I layer. I stick what I want to layer down onto what I'm wanting to layer. So, for example, this panel onto the black card. Okay. And then I only have to cut 2 edges. And I at least know those edges are exactly how I want them to be. Okay, so, and then when I'm lining up to layer on a card, it doesn't always go perfectly, and it definitely doesn't when I'm on live. I sort of line it up so it's equidistant each side and as close to the top as I want it to be, because I figure if it's a little bit close to the top, it really doesn't matter, as long as the 2 sides are about even. Okay, and it's just an ish. Just an ish. Who do you sound off to, Sam? She has to listen. Okay, so, alright, so you can already see here, already a bit different, you know, loving this. Right, so on to the big panel. Okay, and again, this panel is about the size of the medium card. Okay, so, well, I got all 3 panels out of one of these cards. Okay, so basically this is an A5 card, and then with the second one I got all the 3 panels for the other 2, and then I've got the strips for the sentiments. Okay, so right on here I think I'm going to have to return to type and do a little bit of smooshing. Can't have no smooshing at all, you know, that would be a bit odd. Now, obviously we talk a little bit about colour theory most weeks, okay, but the red in here, you have all 3 primary colours, okay, because your green is made up obviously of your yellow and your blue, so you have all 3 primary colours. Now, the risk with having all 3 primary colours is you will get a brown, okay. So it does, you know, it does get the brown. Now, a lot of the time, obviously, you don't want that. But I do think when you're doing leaves in autumnal colours, it's going to work really, really well. So I'm going to smush all 3 together and we're going to see what happens, okay? So we're going to put some abandoned coral down and some mustard seed. I'm really going to just throw it all on, okay? Because I want this to be quite a full up sort of smushiness background. And I have got my piece of card to mop up any extra when I'm done. That I did some mop up of earlier. Okay. So, and then I'll use that for a background later, or I'll die cut it, or use it as a panel in a journal or something like that. So from here, I'm going to spritz. So that activates the oxidation on here as well. So you can see as well, by not, I'm going to dry between layers a little, by not allowing the black VersaFine onto my blending mat, it meant I didn't have to clean it. I didn't have to, you know, give it a scrub down before I went onto this section. And that's why it's always great to have some spare copy of paper or a card that you don't mind stamping on or whatever. Okay, so then we're gonna smush again. Oh wow, love it. Alright, and then I'm going to spritz a little bit more, just to activate a little bit more of that, because I want it up in this corner here. And in fairness, because these are oxides, we're not getting a massive amount of brown, just a little. But like I say, because we're going autumnal colours, oh look at that, just a little extra one in the middle. That is absolutely beautiful. But obviously, oh, that Google thing's done it again, where it's picked up what I wanted to say. That is so cool. Right, I'm just going to put that to the side just a second, so I can mop up all this extra ink with my spare piece of card. Look at that, beautiful. So if you wanted to then go in here with your big ones and whatever, and to then add some more texture. Brilliant. So in fairness, although I've said one stamp set 3 cards, obviously we've already started another sheet of card, and obviously the tag we did right at the beginning. So although it is 3 cards, you know, we have also started 2 other projects already as well. Alright, so this is obviously had quite a lot of water on it. And again, it's not watercolour card, so I am going to want to dry it really properly. Crackling Campfire. I have to say, Crackling Campfire is fantastic. I was playing with the Distress Oxide spray for Crackling Campfire the other day, last week, sorry, on Crafting Together. And I did, sorry, I'm just trying to get it one-handed. Oh, see, that was me using the embossing glaze. So you've got me going off on this tangent. What are you guys like? Oh, here we go. And that was just a Ranger tag just with crackling fire oxide spray on. And if you look at how it's oxidised, I mean, it's just beautiful. I haven't done anything with it yet because it's so pretty and I actually don't want to cover it up, which is silly, I know, but it's how I am. Alrighty. Now what I like about this is the mustard seed has sort of mixed with the abandoned coral. And it's almost given us this sort of fossilised amber look as well, which is really, really, really nice. So from here, I'm going to grab a blending tool. I'm going to use a blending tool and not a brush because of the look I want. Okay, smoosh. It's all about the smoosh. It's all about the smoosh. Okay, and we're going to take our abandoned coral, work it into our blending mat a little. Now this has got, I think, a little bit of yellow on this foam pad, but that's fine. And we're literally just going to do a little bit. We're going to go all the way around the edge with our blending tool. So for anyone that thought I had actually abandoned my blending tools, oh no, I have not. Okay, look at that, and it's just that little bit around the edge that brings it all together. Beautiful. But if you wanted to do this sort of effect but without the sort of chalky finish, obviously you could do this with your dye inks, with your distress, your regular distress. But I will say you probably will get more browns, more mud come in. But again, I don't think that really matters when you are doing autumnals. Okay, so from here, I think I'm really debating what to do. No. I want to put that there, I think. I'm going to put it at the top, but I am actually going to bring in another ink pad. I am going to bring in another ink pad because I'm going to bring in an embossing powder, I think. Because I just think, sorry, I'm going to start loading things up now because I didn't plan this. I just think a gold embossing powder will look really, really cool on there. But obviously, if you don't do heat embossing, or you want to but you just haven't done it yet or anything like that, you could just go onto here with your one of your distress inks that you have used. Okay, fastest blending tool in the West there. I know I do go really quick. Do you find the chalky residue comes off the card when it dries? I haven't, no. I'm not saying it doesn't, I'm saying I haven't. Lots of Versamark. Actually, I should use an anti-static bag on that before I do this to make sure it's dry. Ah, it'll be fine. Be fine. We'll risk it for a biscuit. Right. So I'm going to put this on the top. Again, we're going to flex our Super Skinny just to make sure all that lovely detail that Sam put into gets picked up. I know embossing live, this is not gonna. This is potentially not gonna work. Very rarely does when I emboss live. That's not bad. I have just missed that bit. That's fine. Okay, now because I have Versamarked onto a distressed background, I am going to have a little bit around the edges. Now, in fairness, I'm actually going to leave that because I think it will give it a really nice mixed media looky to it. But if you wanted to, you can just use a dry brush to get that off. Okay, but I am going to do that. Be Crafty, have you had the range of gold embossing powder in yet? I don't know. I would have to look. Or better than that, I'll get Sam and Mum to look. Right, so what we'll do is, again, so we're heating, so we're going to our non-stick craft sheet. And I'm going to heat this up. Now, like I said, I've left some of the excess embossing powder on. It's gone around the edges because I actually think it works with what we're doing. If you didn't want to, like I say, you just, with a dry paintbrush, just knock it off and it will come straight off. This would also, I'm thinking I maybe should have gone copper actually, because that would have highlighted the abandoned coral. But what can you do? Those little gold flecks around the outside, by the way, are lovely. I might add a few more. Yeah, so obviously that looks absolutely fab, but if you can see around the edge where you've got a few of those gold flecks, I don't know if you can see there, I think that looks really, really ace. I'm going to actually possibly going to go around the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to no, oh yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay, right, so go around here with your finger. And then where your finger is. Because I don't want it as precise as like if I put the ink pad on. I just want it a little bit mucky. Not that mucky. That's not close enough to the edge. And I don't want it on the leaf, okay? Because I want the leaf to be clear. So, for example, I'll just take that bit off. But I've got some more powder now around the edges. Just take a little bit, sprinkle it on. This is so much fun. But yeah, I think the copper would have worked quite well. Oh, quick tip, and this comes direct from Sam, not me. If you do spill your embossing powders all over your floor, a dustpan and brush, not a vacuum cleaner, because vacuum cleaners have a motor, which means they get hot, which means they melt your thermographic embossing powder into the vacuum, which you don't want. Right, so we're just going to heat that up. God, this is so lush. Right, just these little gold specks everywhere. It's one of those things, isn't it? I spend ages moaning that I can't get clear, you know, a clean emboss when I emboss live, and then I do. So I start adding in extra powder. But, you know. Whatever, Trevor. Oh my goodness me. Then you've got those little gold flecks on there. Marvellous. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back to adding in a little bit of colour. And I'm going to use, I'm going to need a little bit more, I think, abandoned coral. We'll give it a quick spritz. And I'm only really going to go down the centre vein, flicking out. Because I don't want to cover that fab background. But the cool thing about this, you can just add in a little bit. I'm going to go in the bottom as well, I think. Okay. If there's any like sort of paler patches. And then you've got that awesome. Oh no, we're not mean to spiders. Spiders have a purpose. And by the way, I am absolutely terrified of them. But no, I don't. I get Dave to come and lift them and put them outside. Unless they're just not bothering me at all, and then I just leave them alone. There we go. Look at that. And I'm just all these little goldy bits around here. Oh, love it. Love it. Right. Okay. So from here, we are going to need a word. I think the earth, air and light is going to be the way to go. Across here. But what we are going to need to do, I think, is colour this piece of card, because white is not going to work here, I don't think. Okay. Oh, Lachlan, you meanie. Right. But I am just going to go with... Right. So let's do a mustard seed. With an abandoned coral edge. Okay, but you see how strong those colours are compared to that. Right, so what we need to do is we need to oxidise it a little so that we've got a similar sort of look. Okay, so you can see that that's oxidising. I'll give it another little spritz on that edge. And again, we'll come in. Let me just smoosh that up first. And then we oxidise that so that the texture of it is the same, although we haven't got the bundled sage in, as this. Okay? I should have done 2 bits so you could see like the before and after oxidisation. So, see, I feel like I should layer it on some gold card, but I don't even know if that's anything I own. Doesn't sound like me, does it? So you can see that goes much better because of the oxidisation. Do we think the earth, air and light? Do we think the earth, air and light? I think the earth, air and light. You've got like 2 minutes. Not even that. Tell me if it's earth, air and light or not. But if you do say not, you have to tell me what I'm using instead. Did you think I could make 3 cards in an hour? So let me let you into a little secret. I didn't. on there with our Versamark. Caroline says yes, so there we go. She wins. Okay, and then Earth Air Light. Like I said, I do have a little bit. Do not send me Mary card, Louise Sims. I do have a little bit of copper regret. I feel like I should have used copper, but I do think the gold is working out quite well. Right. So you can see I've pressed too hard with my stamp. So I'm going to see if I can fix it with a flick. Goodness gracious me. It'd be a shame to fall at the final hurdle, Beverly, to get in this far. Do you know what I need? I need one of those new Tim Holtz embossing pens that I keep looking at and not buying. So if you miss a bit on your stamp, you can go in with your embossing pen and then add in embossing powder after. Poked it. I can't find my poked it. Ah, there it is. See, that was a good idea. Glad you thought of it. Better than me paintbrush, wouldn't it? I think that's alright. Because obviously we do have the sort of distressed look on there. So I'm okay with that. I am okay. What I like about what we've done tonight is we've done like a little notelet, which is sort of like watercolory, and then we've done a really clean and simple monochrome, and now we've done something a bit which is almost mixed media grungy, which is nice because that means there's something for everybody. Whee! Spin it round. Okay. Now I am going to, you know when you feel like you're going to regret something, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of my abandoned coral, and I'm hoping that's going to be wet enough to do a little bit of embossing powder on the edges, which it is, but a bit too heavy, so I'm going to flick off quite a bit of the excess. Yay! This is me just playing now. I have to say, the plan has now gone sort of asunder. There we go. So now you can see it's just like that little bit of embossing powder, which is what I was after, so it matches. Now I can pour the excess embossing powder back in here. And then back in. This is the thing, I keep saying I'm going to get the Try It Out Tuesdays to be shorter so I don't take up your guys a whole evening. But I think if I'm making 3 projects, I can be excused, can't I? Surely. Earth, air and light. I am going embossing crazy. See that? I mean, but you can see just adding that little bit of gold to the edge there does work. Oh yes, it does. It doesn't need the gold, does it? Because having the white border really intensifies what's there. So pleased, I can't even tell you. Right, some more double-sided tape. Don't make them shorter. I just worry I'm taking up all your guys' evenings, but I suppose now they're getting darker anyway. It doesn't really matter, does it? I am sorry about the doodle art houses though, because I promised to do them, didn't I? I promised to do doodle art houses next week. So if there's anything you would like to see with the doodle art houses, please let me know. I did do a journal page with them a couple of weeks ago. If you missed it on Facebook, it is on the YouTube channel. A little double layout using Dina Wakeley sprays. While we're talking about the YouTube channel, please subscribe to it. We don't have many followers on our YouTube channel. I've only really just started adding stuff to it. And Mum actually, oh yes, while I'm here, we did upload just a quick how to make a triangle card video that Mum did. So we are going to be adding some more short videos like that, just quick, easy to follow type things. Okay, so again, line that up, sort of. Okay, and then we'll... Oh, bless you, Gail, don't make them any shorter. So... See, Jane's here as well. Jane's like me, you see, when she does her lives on a Thursday. You know, I was going to say go on, but you know what I mean. I don't mean go on in a bad way. But Jane's like me, we just chatter through it, don't we? Which is great. Can't wait to see what Jane's up to this week. How exciting. Right, so just going to put that right about there. I can't lie, guys. Proper chuffed. Proper chuffed. Okay, so I'm just going to lift that mat out of the way so you guys can see. So, and I have to say, this use one stamp set and 3 ink pad thing, plus my black, obviously, does not work for keeping my desk tidy. Usually after I try it out Tuesday, honestly, it's carnage. Absolute carnage in here. A Crafty math has normally happened. But yeah, because I've stuck to 3 ink pads and 3 cards, I was going to say, if you'd like to just challenge me to do this another time, just let me know and I will give it a go. Okay, so these are the 3 cards I've managed to make in a try it out Tuesday. Okay, so we've got the lovely little notelet that we started with, that we watercoloured round to create that sort of shadow. The clean and simple monochrome, which I would say was my favourite if it wasn't for this lovely sort of embossing on here. But I like them all, and I think they all work, and I think they would all useful. So if you have a stamp set that you haven't had a play with, or you haven't picked up in a while, so for example, I haven't picked up the oak one in a while, it can be quite difficult when we have lots of new things coming out, I know. So when, you know, grab a stamp set that you haven't had a play with for a while, and grab 3 ink pads, just the first 3 that you put your hand on, okay, and just see what you can come out with. But I'll let you use any border stamps and stuff that you have, because I'm nice like that. Alright guys. Yeah, I think they would look cool in pictures, in picture frames as well, actually. You know, because obviously people, grey living rooms are very popular nowadays, aren't they? They're really, really popular. So something like that, framed up, and you could do like one with the nettle in the maple if you had those as well. A series of 3 would look very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. Okay, so Sam was in Crafting Together All Brands yesterday, talking about different sorts of pens that she has. So if you want to listen to Sam go on about pens for an hour, you can catch up with that in the Crafting Together All Brands. I will be back in Crafting Together All Brands tomorrow at 2, and Mum will be on at 7, and then Jane will be back here on Thursday night at 8 p.m. with no doubt some absolute loveliness. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for joining me on Try It Out Tuesday. I of course, will be back at Try It Out Tuesday next week. If you want to catch up with any of the old ones, you can do so on the Facebook page, or you can whiz over to the Be Crafty YouTube channel, and you can see them all on there. But if you've got any questions, anything you want to know, anything you want to ask, or anything you would like to request is a Try It Out Tuesday or is a short demo to go on YouTube, then please let us know. Alright then, guys, have a fantastic rest of your evening. Bye!